So, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. You are very, very welcome on this webinar, this week's Global Associate Meeting. For those of you who are new, my name is Dan Anderson. I'm the CEO of Leo, and the vision of Leo started some 7 years ago. And one of the things that I'm very committed to is to communicate clearly and transparently and to tell people what's going on. And these webinars on a Monday evening, we've run them now for, I don't know, goodness, it's like 7 years, and we've missed it twice, I think. Once because it was Christmas and another time because it was something else. So this is kind of the pulse beat of Leo. This is where we tell you what's going on, we give you incentive details, we remind you of administration and housekeeping, but it's kind of the communication piece. So we're not going to sell anyone on the business. We're assuming that if you are here, you are an associate of Leo in the sense that you're associated with us. And what is wonderful is that the numbers of this webinar are going up, 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 up. And the names, for my poor Swedish brain, are getting more and more difficult. There was a time when I was always able to guess which countries people came from, but now so the names are getting, I don't know, more and more non-Western and fantastic. I did a webinar, a leadership call on Saturday to the group in South Africa and 4 or 5 other African countries, and it's just wonderful to see the energy and the power that's coming out of that continent. And this is something that I don't know, for me is kind of a little bit of a sign, because I've been saying for over 10 years, 15 years, that when Africa comes, watch out, because they will go into entrepreneurship and business and global economy in a way that will be a wonder to behold. And so I've always wanted to work in Africa, and I've always wanted to have an African business to sort of support the great strides that that continent is making. And we've done many things in terms of social entrepreneurship and in terms of charity. We've sort of drilled wells and done different village community activities. So we're very, very committed to that side of our business. But of course, we are a global business, and so we have every week that we run this call, there's more and more of that global celebration coming through. So we have a number of things to talk about, and it's all kind of, again, this global picture. But first, we have Paul Tinwu, who has cracked a director position, and congratulations to you, Paul. I'm trying to get a face to go with the name, but I can't quite remember. I know there's the French connection there somewhere. He's one of our French leaders, as far as I recall, although I could be jumbled up. And the business is kind of getting to that size now that I don't even know who all of our directors are, which is shameful. So I apologize for that. But going director is no mean feat. So congratulations to you. And what it means in terms of our business and in terms of our plan is that this is when a person steps into a leadership role for us. And we wanted very much to call our rank advancements kind of business-minded titles. We're not talking about blue star, diamond, platinum, intergalactic, master, ruby. We're talking about people who are executives and who are coordinators and who are leaders in that sort of business sense. And director is that first position when we think that you should have, or we will treat you like you are a responsible person that is directing something, and you kind of have one foot in the company and one foot in your field. And this is the partnership approach that we have. There's a wonderful directors program, which we won't go into now, but this is all part of this tying our directors in with us, so we know who they are and what they want to achieve, and work together with them to develop their markets and to develop their organizations and networks and teams and people. So this is that, and congratulations, Paul. So I look forward to welcoming you to the marketing director positions and hire, and to help people in your team also achieve what you've done. Now, just want to share with you a couple of snaps from our global business, and especially our Chinese-speaking community are very, very committed and hard-working with Leo Coin. And this is very important for all of you to kind of support, because every week, pretty much for the last 6 months, we have shared with you things from the Leo and Leo coin community in China. Now, China is arguably the most powerful economy in the world, and certainly they, with their Belt and Road projects, are sort of making entrepreneurship something that is that China takes responsibility for connecting people rather than building walls between people, and I quite like that. So if Leo Coin has a huge community in China, that can only be good for all of us. So in Fujian, they're doing just a small training here, how to use the Leo Coin wallet and how to do shopping with Leo. Just earlier this evening, one of our old time leaders that joined us right from the start, Angel, she shared with our general manager in Hong Kong that she's just acquired a new apartment, and she's furnished this apartment from the air conditioning through to the beds and sofas and all the furniture, including the, I think it was a 57-inch flat screen TV. All of the furnishings of this apartment has been purchased using Leo Coin, which I thought was just a wonderful thing. I've asked her for sharing some pictures, so we can talk about that later, because as we build our community, the bigger the community gets, the bigger our economy becomes, and the more value we get in Leo Coin. So this is kind of, there is no shortcut. It is all to do with building the community and doing trainings. Here's another example of that. So he, Marketing Director Fu Deming, introduced his business product, ginseng soup, accepted the payment by Leo Coin, and introduced a new concept of 3 major benefits of one business and free to spend with Leo Coin. And I'm sure in Chinese that means has a lot more resonance than it does in English. But again, this is part of what a global community does as they're trying to build the economy. Same in Shanghai. We are now having people all over the regions of China, and Shanghai is obviously a powerhouse. Again, talking about the e-wallet, and got visits from old members, and this is something again that we're very proud of, because having a 7-year track record, we have a lot of stories of old members getting excited, getting started, and then for whatever reasons life overtakes them, and something happens and they can't carry on so actively with Leo. They come back to us 2 or 3 or 4 years later and then re-engage and start building the business again. And what they see universally is how much development and how many strides forward the organization and the platforms and the business at large has taken. So this is again something where you're not penalized for running your life alongside your Leo business. In fact, the contrary, we want to build a business where people can be part of our community no matter their level of engagement. In Turkey, we've got a fantastic business emerging, and I know that there are Turkish people on this call. I'm very, very sad that I've not been to Turkey for a while, but looking forward very, very much to coming over there and supporting you guys, because I know that the Turkish business has very, very strong leadership. They have a great vision for what we can do in terms of our training products, in terms of what we can do with our digital currencies, and in terms of what we can do with our business model. And for me, Turkey is another one of those key markets that sits between the East and the West, that sits between Europe and Asia. And as such, it's a very, very important market. And in geopolitics terms, I know that we don't get involved in politics or anything like that, but Turkey is one of those important places that we really are committed to supporting. And you've got a fantastic country manager there in Melek Serja. So well done, you guys. Now, I'm going to hand over the microphone to Mihir, who's also on the call, Mihir Magudia, because on Wednesday, we celebrated the 1-year anniversary of us having created the Digital Currency Day in 2018. In 2019, on the 16th of January, it was our first 1-year anniversary, and we held a event in the Houses of Parliament in London. And Mihir, are you there? Can you share some of the glory of your day?
Yes, I am, Dan. Thank you very much. And as always, delighted to be here. So, Digital Currency Day was something that we launched in 2018 Before that, there was nothing, but thanks to Leo Coin Foundation, thanks to Digital Currency Foundation, thanks to Leo, now there is a Digital Currency Day in the UK every year on the 16th of January. And this year was another resounding success. So there was lots going on in the UK. There was questions over whether the government would fall. There was all sorts of political issues happening. But nonetheless, at our event, about 30 or 40 or so members of Parliament, members of the House of Lords turned up. And when you consider what proportion that is, that's about 5–6% of every single legislator in the country turned up to this event about Bitcoin, about Leo Coin, about digital currency. And what was even more exciting is that we were very fortunate to be joined by a number of Leo members from around the world. So we had some good friends from Morocco, from France, from Guadeloupe, from Sweden, from Finland, from Germany. There's a great picture of them. I'll stop there. There's a picture of all of them there in the House of Commons, right in the heart of the British democracy, in one of probably the most famous building in the country. And it was just great to be showcasing our company there. It was great to be showing off all things good about what we're doing at that event. And we were really, really happy to be there. If we just go back one slide, in the middle there's a photo of me talking to a woman, not the top one, but the one just below that, the small one in the middle. That woman is Penny Mordaunt, and she is the Cabinet Minister for International Development. And she and I had a fantastic conversation about the work we're doing in Nepal, the schools we're planning, the school we built. And she was very, very interested in getting us in to talk some more. She was very, very interested in talking about what she could do to encourage businesses to be more philanthropic, to be more generous with their money, to participate more in international development. And she's one of 13 cabinet ministers that essentially are the UK government. And so it was absolutely fantastic to get a chance to spend some time with her and to talk to her. We had speeches from that man on the bottom left there, who is Lord Toby Harris of Haringey. In his career, he was a very, very important advisor to Tony Blair, who was our Prime Minister for about a decade, and now he's a member of the House of Lords. At the bottom there, the man reading out a name and choosing a name out of the box, that's John Hemming, who is the local MP for Henley, which is the constituency where the Leo UK office is based in. So he was there to host the event. He was there to pick a lucky name out of a hat and all the rest of it. And so this really was a fantastic event where our supporters from across multiple different parties, I think 5 or 6 different political parties were represented across those 30 or 40 MPs. This was an incredibly successful event. And that was kind of the evening of the event. The daytime...
Mia, allow me to just interject here, but during that day and that event, you were a little bit nervous because there was big things going on in the Houses of Parliament with Brexit and stuff, right?
Yeah, there was a vote of confidence in the government. There was massive debates. There was days and days of argument that were coming to a head on that evening where we had that parliamentary event. So we were incredibly nervous that no one would turn up because they were all busy arguing, they were busy debating, they were busy in the House of Lords or the House of Commons as well. But nonetheless, they did. Bitcoin was interesting to them. Leo Coin was interesting enough to them. They drew themselves away from the chamber and came to see us and came to talk about what we wanted them to talk about and to spend some time. So we were absolutely, it was a wonderful, wonderful event.
And what's the thing going on in the top right-hand corner?
Yeah, so the top right-hand corner was what we were doing in the daytime. So we had a bit of fun with the banks. Now, all of you who've heard me speak know my view of ancient institutions which get in the way and charge fees for no reason, which create barriers for no reason, which kind of, well, as we say on the sign there, rip off small businesses, rip off people who are trying to send money around the world, rip off all sorts of different people. So we'd had some research done that found that the banks were taking £800 million in international transfer fees. These are those exchange rate fees. These are the fees that your bank charges you when you send money around the world. And so we decided to advertise that research. We decided to celebrate that research. So we put that key finding on the side of a poster van and drove it around the city of London. Those of you following us on Facebook that day will have seen me talking with it outside the Bank of England. outside Barclays Bank, outside the Royal Bank of Scotland, outside Lloyd's, outside some of these ancient banks, multi-billion-dollar organizations. We were there to poke them in the eye, essentially, and let them know that their time is coming. Digital currency is on the way. We don't need these outdated institutions anymore. We don't need their unfair charges, their unfair fees. We have found a better way, and we're encouraging other people to do the same. So that was our day of fun in London.
Here, here. Well done, you. Well done, you. And did we get some PR out of it as well?
We did. Again, as I say, it was a very busy news day, but there was some coverage in some trade publications. There was some coverage on the PR Newswire. It was picked up on a lot of different non-UK websites as well. So there's I think about 100 or 200 different news sites it's on. Not many of them English language primarily, because obviously the British press was concerned with the vote of confidence that day. But lots and lots of stuff all around the world, which goes into that big external relations booklet, and that we send out to our members with a PDF every so often. So you'll be seeing that as well. So very happy with it.
What we did on our first year was we actually had you on Radio 2, didn't we?
Yes, indeed. And we tried that again, but it was a busy news day. So last year, a good sort of 9 or 10 million people tuned into that radio show to listen to us talk about digital currency and Bitcoin and Leocoin and the Digital Currency Day. So we followed up with all of that. There's lots and lots of interest, especially in Parliament, on this. We're very, very pleased with how the day went.
Yeah, very, very cool. And I just love seeing the members here. It's just a fantastic place to be able to take them to.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. Yeah, it was wonderful to have them there, and wonderful to share this event, this institution with so many members there. Oh, there was a lady from Texas there as well. I just remembered. Oh, wow. Gosh, wow. People from all over the world came to join us from all over the Leo family.
So Leo strikes again, and Leocoin and Digital Currency Foundation, well done to you. And again, this is something that I'm very, very proud of, because it's part of this international space that we have as one of our core values, as you know, that diversity is empowering. And we are kind of turning into this international and global business that every week gets sales from so many different countries. And one of the things that we celebrate is in one huge big annual conference. And I know it's a little bit tragic for some of you, because if you joined the business too late to be participating in this, you'll just have to watch it from the sidelines and suffer. For those of you who have qualified for Brazil, you have until the 31st of January to do the administration. If you need to change your guest details, this is the time. Upload your visa, flight details, your visa and flight details of your guest. You've got to get this done. There's only 9 days, maybe 10 days left before your time is up, and there will be no extensions, because we're just doing such a big global travel show here of sort of, I don't know, 500-600 people coming from all over the world together to one place. It's not an easy thing to organize. So do your thing, or don't go. And that would be terribly sad if you qualified for this and can't be bothered to do the paperwork just because you're a salesperson and can't get round to it, because that is so often the case. That's fine. The other thing that you are qualifying for en masse is the Momentum 2019 conferences that we're organizing. We're doing one for the Asia Pacific region around Hong Kong on a wonderful cruise ship that we've used once before. This will be an extraordinary event. We're also doing one in Dubai, and I happen to know that our new African leaders are pushing this very hard and being very, very excited about it. And I can't wait to meet all of you around this event. And the qualifications are going thick and fast. And I suspect that we're quite close to being overqualified for this. If not this week, certainly within the next couple of weeks, I think this will all be done. So that's just very, very exciting. And the Momentum Tour is finally creating some momentum, and that's nice to see. So as you know, we've got 3 regional areas. We've got Asia, Dubai, and the rest of the world. Each region has the same qualifications rules, which is to introduce a new member and raise it to platinum. Of course, we've made changes to the platinum qualification, so therefore we're seeing an influx of new qualifiers. Absolutely marvelous. So there's details and terms and conditions. Check this all out, because this is about taking our business to the next level. 2019 is kind of turning into more and more of an explosive mix, because we've got some very high profile things that are coming our way. We've had some trials and tribulations in 2018 which are largely coming to bed very, very shortly. We are launching a brand new Leo world very, very shortly as well, where we are going kind of into something that I know our members will absolutely love. I've kind of had a lot of time to think about the direction of the business and where we want to go. What does entrepreneurship mean in 2019? What does the learn, earn, own philosophy mean in 2019? And especially, what does ownership mean, and where can we add the greatest value to people's lives? Well, I've got the answers for that. We're still innovative, we're still cutting edge, we're still into digital currencies and making a success of it, but we're also going into something that will potentially tenfold our business, maybe in just this first year. And it's something that it doesn't matter where you are and who you are, you will love this. But I can't tell you what it is, or I would have to kill you all, and we're not going to have that. But there is something very, very cool coming, done in a way that's never been done before, and reinventing a number of industries where we're pulling together some loose threads in Leo all into one great big powerful force to be reckoned with. So quite excited by that, and it's kind of like Wakas Sohail, our GM in Dubai, says that once you've been tested, and I think Leo has been tested, once you pass through that test, you go to the next level, you go to the next higher class, you get to this place where everything that you've done before was preparation for being lifted to a higher place. So that's quite cool. The executive trip is kind of part of this global landscape. So we're doing this in Cambodia. Me here has been there, and he's waxed about this so lyrically and with such excitement that I'm not going to ask him to do that again. But there's something about this destination and Cambodia that is, again, changing the executive trip concept in a way that I am very, very excited by. Because this, again, becomes one of those things that only with Leo would this happen for many people. And we can ferret out, and we can research and find the most wonderful things for us to do together, and through our kind of corporate, I don't know, muscle, we can make this happen for people in a way that they couldn't make happen for themselves, if I put it like that. So this will be a life-changing experience, and if you have people on your team that are close to qualifying, get them qualified. If you yourself are able to qualify, get it done, because the 31st of March is your cutoff point, and this trip will be pretty much a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So Leo Coin 3, me here, what's the update? We have shown people the wallet. We're working on stuff. You and I had a conversation about how our developers are getting more and more excited. Maybe you can reflect on that a little bit, because we're doing some very cool things with technology here, aren't we? Not just sort of marketing and not just a recruitment drive creating Leo Coin, but actually some technological innovation as well.
Yeah, that's right. We're actually doing something I think very, very few other coins, if any other coins, have done before. And we're doing something for the first time. Usually when you add new technologies, new features to a coin or a token, even on the Ethereum blockchain, if they're a big new change, you often need to reissue the entire coin again, do another upgrade, do another swap, do what we've been doing the last couple of times that we've done it. If you remember, when we shifted the last upgrade, you all had to do a coin swap. That's because we fundamentally changed the code. We've made massive, massive improvements. Everything was faster. The wallet was better. It could do new things that the old code and the old blockchain just couldn't do. And we were thinking, well, we're making this great leap forward towards Ethereum, but if we want to make bigger changes in the future, then we'll probably need to do another upgrade and another swap and another reissuance. And that's fine because our members are kind of used to it now. They're well educated when it comes to this sort of thing. But what our developers have found is a way of making those adjustments, making those improvements without forcing people through another upgrade, through another swap. So this upgrade and this coin swap will happen, but after that, because of this new technology that we're bringing onto the blockchain and onto our Leo coin, when we want to make changes, when we want to shift around proof of stake, when we want to add new smart contracts, when we want to do voting on the blockchain, when we want to have all sorts of different functions and features, the merchant program, for example, we can add that to the existing coin. We can automatically update that in people's wallets. We don't need to mess around with an entirely new upgrade with an entirely new coin swap all over again. So it just makes it makes our members much happier, because they don't need to keep learning again how to swap their coins. They don't need to tell people again. Exchanges are much happier with us, because they don't need to upgrade their wallets. They don't need to update their code and their understanding of LeoCoin all over again. It can just continue as we grow and develop, and as it gets better and better and better, we can make those changes, make those improvements, almost in a stealth-like way. So you'll just wake up one morning, there'll be an update to download, pop up in your wallet, and you'll just get a newer, better coin with more features and more efficiency. And that's just something that almost no one else has managed to do yet.
Very cool, very cool. Because I mean, again, for the new people in the room, as it were, we've gone through iterations of LeoCoin since 2014, and it's probably worth reminding, especially for the new people who haven't been on that journey, is that we launched a coin in 2014, which was pretty much just a carbon copy of Bitcoin with a name change and a few bits and pieces, because the code is open source, so it wasn't so hard to do. We obviously made some small improvements to that, but nothing extraordinary. But then we upgraded it one time, and then one time again, and each time we've enhanced and improved the code. Each time we've added innovation to it. We've had the ability to communicate in privacy on it. We've added a community aspect of being able to safeguard your privacy, and we've done lots of funky things, and especially with the staking mechanism. Again, no one had done what we were doing there in terms of your wallet balances and proof of stake. So we've gone through a number of iterations of the coin that constantly is taking it forward. And we've been on the blockchain since the start. We've never had some sort of hanky-panky thing that, well, one day soon we're going to launch this thing. No, we launched it on the blockchain, and it's been available for trading on other companies' exchanges almost from the very, very start. So this is a coin that exists in the real world, that is trying to solve problems in the real world, that is trying to do good work in the real world. Like I say, there is no mechanism within the thing to get by the having to build an economy and having to build a community. And the secret that we think is ultimately going to win the day here is that as we build our community, that's when we build the size of our economy. We're adding different uses for it and different ways that you can use and benefit from your LeoCoin. And it's only through that building of the economy that the coin will add in value. So this is why we're marketing and supporting so much some of our huge countries like China. One of the things that we're looking at next is India, of course, because it's turning into one of the most dynamic economies in the world, and again, a huge population base and a very aspirational population. So watch this space. Now, the other thing that we got me here is some publicity, and I just love this guy, Eric. He's from Philippines, and I first met him, I think it was in Bali, or was it Kuala Lumpur? I can't remember. And I did a training where my training concluded with a character who stood with a cape like Superman, and the words that I left the audience with was, "Do something epic." And that was kind of the point of my training, that you should leave a mark and do something extraordinary with your life and with your business. And Eric picked up on this image, grabbed a screenshot of it from somewhere, and then he changed the epic to Eric. So it said, "Do something Eric." And I loved him for that. And then when we went to Mount Everest, he was sitting next to me on the plane, and I got to know him quite well. And he is the most positive person. He's the most inspirational character. We're actually doing a fundraising campaign for Eric, which will launch very, very shortly, because he's got some medical issues in his family that I just felt that we just had to try to help him with to the best of our ability, because he is so positive and so committed to Leo. And he was featured here in businessforhome.org, where he is profiled then as a leader in Leo, as a leader in direct selling, and asked a few questions, and an interview was created out of all of that. And he talks about Leo. He gives Leo a lot of chocolate, a lot of credibility, and a lot of recognition. But what I'd like to just say is thank you, Eric, for your commitment and for your hard work. And I'm telling you that if we can help, we certainly will. And I've tasked one of our directors with creating a campaign to see what we can do to help you and your son with his challenges, and that will come out very, very shortly, especially now that I've mentioned it to hundreds of people on this webinar. So that's all fine. The rank award incentive, as you know, this is a movable feast where we can't keep on doing what we've been doing, so we've had to change the rank awards, and we did this just last week. And the levels that they're at now, again, they will not last forever, because this is part of moving our business forward without, how should I say, eroding the future value of what it is that we are promoting with this. So at the moment, they are still insanely generous, and don't let yourself get talked into thinking that, oh, it's not as good as it was last week. It's still insanely jealous, and people in years to come will say to you, you got what? Now, take advantage while it lasts. You've also got the huge incentive that Platinum has become easier to do, so you are merely to be congratulated. So the final call to action here is about our three big global events. Brazil, or four with the two momentum tours that we're doing. Brazil, the momentum tours, Dubai and China Sea, and the Cambodia executive trip. You've got the dates. Everything is coming together for the 31st of January. So that is the time to really get focused on if you want to qualify for these incentives. The executive trip, you've got a small extension till the end of March. If you're close to executive, get it done, I'm telling you. And that's really all I wanted to say about that. So the business is just now getting ready for the next big push forward. I'm not promising that we will talk to you about our big plans next week, but we're going to start to drop in some general education about this on our next webinar in 7 days' time. We've got some very important trial marketing things going on in certain selected markets. We haven't even there gone into full details on everything, because this is kind of top secret stuff, and I'm negotiating and being together with some very, very high profile people, launching some very high profile partnerships. I can share that next week I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman who's joining our business on the corporate side, who is a person who in his continent is someone in direct selling terms who is absolutely world famous and world class. A bit of a legend and rainmaker in terms of direct selling. But again, if I told you any more than that, some people would start to guess who and why and what's going on. And this is quite sensitive stuff until it's fully finalized. But that will be a big announcement next week. So we are moving at 100 miles an hour. You might not see it, you might not feel it, but the corporate teams are pushed really hard by some of the things that I'm asking them to do. And there's kind of a strategic thing going on as well, where we don't want market intelligence to go out because we have some people are copying everything that we do. We've got people who are starting a direct selling company who then sort of do it with some sort of coin, then they can't meet the liabilities on the coin, and they launch a new coin on top of the old coin and kind of do this liability wash cycle. Then they do a crowdfunding thing, and then they do a property thing, and then they do an incentive trip to the same places that we're going. It's like, for goodness sake, can't you think of your own stuff? Because it's not that difficult. If you're passionate about what you do, creativity just flows. You don't have to copy Leo just because what we did worked for us. It won't work for everyone. It's kind of just a foolish thing. But if you don't have the creativity, I suppose you have to. So it's the most sincere form of flattery that people copy us. We have people who are copying our website and pretending that they are Leo. You would have received emails about this in the last week. They're the most extraordinary things. We got people in certain Chinese-speaking markets running so-called Leo events that are not Leo events, but they're using our branding. They're even using pictures of me because after 7 years, we have, I guess, some standing, and people think, well, it's easier just to for a little short-term scam to steal these ideas and then make a run for it. Plagiarism is the sincerest form of flattery, and I suppose we should just thank them. But I do wish sometimes that they would just come up with their own shit. Excuse my language. But there we have it. So this is Dan Anderson saying thank you very much indeed for coming on this Monday webinar. I look forward to speaking to you again next week, and big things are happening. So hold on, be strong, be motivated, be powerful, do what you have to do, but don't lose your opportunity. Dan Anderson and me, Himagudya, saying thank you very much, and good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world.